Those early days, Roy, obviously, you wouldn't fear any opponent that you played against, but that was probably one of the best partnerships that you played against.
Yeah.
What was it that was difficult about Patrick and Emmanuel Petit that was difficult to play?
Well, what Patrick just mentioned there, obviously they were big, strong and physical, did a nice balance to their team. Obviously Patrick being right-footed, big, strong boys, they could deal with the ball, they were experienced. And we knew, obviously, anytime we played Arsenal, particularly against their midfield, we'd have to bring our best game. And that's the most respect I can give players or teams I played against them. I knew when we played in Arsenal, particularly midfield, I'd have to be at my very, very best. But the two players, the two of them in midfield were, they'd cause you all sorts of problems. The technical side of it, the physicality, the pace, the quality. Yeah, I don't want to get too carried away. But yeah, they provide you with all sorts of challenges.
But your battles with each other, your games against each other, will go down in folklore as one of the great sort of titanic struggles, obviously, of a generation, really, in terms of the fact that obviously Arsenal was successful, Manchester United was successful. What was it specifically? Who do you think came out on top in those battles? No, I'm asking serious now in terms of in games. Was the games where you thought, he's done me today? He's done me today. Or were the games where you thought...
Of course, yeah, there was a few battles you'd lose out in a few, yeah. But it was just, again, I think when players come along, like Patrick, they would bring the best out of you. That's what the game's about. You'd have to, I go back to it, you'd have to bring your best game, your A game, or else you'd be found out. Who won more battles? Obviously, it's very difficult. Listen, obviously Patrick would have had his good days and I had some good days. But I think the clashes were, I certainly enjoyed them.
Did you not used to shake hands afterwards?
I think so, yeah. I think we did. Yeah, I think I didn't have any issue with the issues I have with midfielders who I felt were sneaky or up to no good. I think with the battles I had with you, Patrick, I think were pretty honest battles.
Honest, that's what I was going to say.
There was nothing sneaky about it. It was, again, we'd be hitting each other. But I don't remember too much argy-bargy on the pitch. It was very much you hit me and I hit you and we get on with it. That's the way I felt. I don't know if you felt any different.
No, I loved it. Honestly, it was I believe the best period in my career regarding when we play against United all the time. And every single game that we played against each other, it was like, you have to be ready for it. Because he will not gonna lift his feet, he's gonna go for it. So I have to be prepared, I have to be ready to go into those challenges. But I think, yeah, it was more challenging because I think we have the same kind of quality, I would say. We are competitors, we are winners, we don't like to be done on the field. And of course, when two people like that come together, and it became quite really challenging.
Yeah.
But at the end, I think it was about the respect and I never had any kind of nastiness. I never felt any kind of...
Pardon?
No, but when I say nastiness, what I mean is that I didn't felt anything from behind.
Yes, it's not going to do him, Gary.
It's not going to be doing behind my back. Everything will be like face to face. And of course, I wanted to win, he wanted to win. And I think we had... when I was going on my side, when I was going on the field, I was said to myself that I believe that if I manage to win that duel against you, that will help the teams to play with more confidence. So I will say if I get on the top of you, that may going to help the teams to believe that we can win those kind of games. So it was some good ones.
What would Arsene say to you before the game? Anything that you can remember about specifically playing against Roy or Paul Scholes in our midfield?
Have a go at that Gary Neville.
He's a winner. We're going to come on to that. We're just dealing with the proper stuff first.
No, go on. No, Arsene wasn't.
But what did
Arsene will never going to say something specific. It was more about to concentrate on the game. On the game and not get carried on by the challenges that can happen. It was more focusing on the football and try to play the game, but never any kind of advice how to conduct myself on the field. No.
I mean, we'll come on to the sort of when it got sort of a little bit more fraught, and I think that was probably when you started to become more successful against us. I think there was a time where we realised actually we had to stop you playing football. There was a period where your football was, I felt, superior to ours. Maybe it was towards the end, maybe that Invincibles type team, when we struggled for a few seasons. And we definitely came out to be aggressive against you. We definitely came out to stop you. We knew that if we let you play, we were dead. Around that time, it seemed to get a little bit more angry. Did you feel that we were being overly aggressive against you and that we were getting away with things?
No, I felt that through the years, of course, I think United were more aggressive, tried to intimidate us a little bit more. But we take it as compliment,
Yeah.
because we felt that we were getting closer to you. Yeah. Because the target was, if we want to win the league, you have to finish above United. So we were training every day, we were playing the game, and the target was United. How do you get there? So all this kind of, and I think it was as well driven by the press, because it was this kind of me against you, Arsene against Sir Alex Ferguson. So everything was created to really have those two teams to be really competitive. And more we were getting closer and more we felt that United were more aggressive. And that was a compliment to us, because that means we were quite really close.
Patrick is definitely another one. He was a great leader, I have to say. I will always remember, before every big game, so let's say if we played a Saturday against Man United, the Friday morning prior to this game, he will kick someone in training and he will create a kind of tension moment for everyone to feel that, hey, in 24 hours we have a war. You know, I remember one time he did a really, I don't know, I was going to say great tackle. It was not a great tackle, really, but on Freddie Ljungberg, and they started to kind of fight, and then sometimes with Jens Lehmann and et cetera, et cetera. So he knew exactly what he was doing. He was defending always his teammates on and off the pitch, and the presence that he had on the Saturdays, you know, when we were playing inside the pitch, was something that I haven't seen from many players.
And the moral of the story is, when you have a five-a-side on a Friday, make sure that you're on Patrick Vieira's
100%, 100%.
Patrick, we start with you. What started all this?
What started
What started it all in the tunnel?
I think it all started with Roy losing his temper.
No, but before that, something had started it.
Before that?
Yes, before that.
It was this kind of, the rivalry between, of course, the two clubs. I think as an Arsenal player, you always wanted to play against the best. At that time, United was the best team. And it was challenging, it was tough, it was really difficult. And obviously, Gary, here on the left-hand side, one of his strengths was intimidated players around, and I think that is one of his strengths. And that time I was getting really, really frustrated about the number of challenges that and the foul aggressivity that he was giving to our players, to Arsenal players. So as a captain, as a leader, I wanted to put him under pressure a little bit.
OK, so that happened in the tunnel after the warm-up then. Does this happen going back up the tunnel after you've warmed up?
Yeah, so before we got in the tunnel to go out for the game, coming in for the warm-up, he's chasing me up the tunnel, screaming at me. So I goes into the changing room and sits down next to Dennis Irwin and said, you know, Vieira's a bit annoyed. he's just basically chased me up the tunnel. And obviously I sat next to Dennis here and Roy was next to Dennis, so Roy...
And you obviously heard that.
Yeah, but to be honest, I was trying to mind my own business. Honestly, I was just focused on the game, you know, quite calm, getting in the zone, and Gary was a little bit upset and he seemed a bit worried. And but I think I said to Gary, I said, just forget about it. Just obviously we need to focus on the game. And then of course, obviously Patrick wouldn't let it go. You know, typical Arsenal bully. And then he started again in the tunnel just before the game started. And that's where I kind of got a little bit irritated.
What did you find when you first went to Arsenal?
Listen, coming to England, going to Arsenal, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't have a clue about the Premier League, because in France, the biggest league was the Italian league, the Serie A. The Serie A was the most followed league in France. So at that period, I knew nothing about Arsenal. So arriving there, I was quite really impressed by the unprofessional.
Did you
from
say
the players.
impressed by the unprofessionalism? Or?
Yes, because I came from AC Milan.
Yeah.
And AC Milan was like players arriving there 1 hour, 2 hours before training, well dressed. Costa Curta was coming every day in the training with the suit and the tie. There was like they were like having their lunch after training, and some of them was sleeping in the training ground before going back home. It was quite really professional, and this is where I really learned really the job. And coming to Arsenal, and it was quite really the opposite. It was different.
Talk to us about it.
Well, they didn't have. We weren't turning up to train in suit and tie. That's what.
You've been turning up on time, Tony Adams said.
I was always on time.
The approach and the mentality was completely different, and I felt really comfortable with it, and I loved it. It was quite really
relaxed,
laid back. It was all about what's going on the field, and it was about the passion and not thinking about tomorrow. Is about we are in training, we give 100%, we can train well, we can train bad. There were some mistakes, there was some technical mistakes, but always giving 100%. And that's completely different from the Italian culture that I learned before.
The players at that time still would have been probably going out for a drink after the game, wouldn't they?
Yeah, of course. We around I think the Christmas period.
Yes.
TJ Fridays in London.
TJ Fridays
in London. Straight away after training, but French players we were coming for the dinner.
Yes.
But the guys they were meeting like straight away after training.
1 o'clock.
So they would been
Hammered. by the time
eating and drinking until we get there, and this is when it was time for them to go home, and this is where we started to party.
Well, just talk to us about. I'm always interested, obviously, being a defender, the defence that you obviously had behind you. I know you and Emmanuel Petit played a brilliant role in front, but just talk to us about that back five: Winterburn, Dixon, Keown, Adams, and obviously Bold, and Seaman.
To be honest, I still don't understand how Nigel and Lee managed to play at that level. No, but
That's what he says about me.
I'm going to rephrase it.
No, we're keeping that in.
No, but what I mean is that in training, they were like 20% of... There were the two players that they were like 20% of what they were doing in the weekend. When they were training in the week, they was like, have a back issues, have a knee issues, have an ankle issues. Yeah. So they was always protecting themselves.
Yeah.
But coming to the weekend, I said, they can't play. But they were like amazing. And for me, as a holding midfielder with Manu at the time, we were feeling like strong. It was easy for us to play knowing what was behind us, because they were like competitors. They were like going to... There's people that you can go to fight with because you know that they will have you back. And they were warriors. They was like, there's no one games that you will go and getting scared and getting afraid, because you're looking around and you say, there's people there who will look after you back. So it was easy for us to be really challenging, because if there was something there, if there is a confrontation, we know that there will be people around us. So it was really easy to play behind those guys.
What was your first game? The first time I pitched you watching you,
Sheffield.
was it?
Yeah, I was on the bench. I came on because I think David Platt was injured.
Was it Platt?
Or Ray Parlour.
Ray Parlour.
Ray Parlour was injured.
I always remember there was a game away at Blackburn. Was that maybe your second or third? Did you score two away at Blackburn, 2-0?
Yeah, I did. That was Wenger's first game.
That was Wenger.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Wenger had bought you, even though he knew he was coming, didn't he?
Yes, we spoke on the phone, and because Arsene was the manager at Monaco and I was playing for Cannes, so we knew each other. And I met him a couple of times in Milan, and he was telling me that he will be the Arsenal manager, that he will want me to come, but I get there before him, and I came with Rémi Garde.
Rémi Garde, yeah. Rémi.
And Arsene arrived a couple of months later, yeah.
I remember Arsene Wenger said that Patrick's the one who's going to give him credibility, because obviously Patrick came and he had to wait.
Yeah.
And so this is why everybody is waiting to see how Patrick's going to perform. And then obviously that Sheffield Wednesday game, it kind of showed people what was happening.
Yeah, but
So
I was on the bench the first couple of games, and I was started to get frustrated because I wasn't playing.
Could you? I think when I was at Liverpool and players come in, and it's even in the training session. So you're not starting games, but you're training every day. Was he one of those that came in and it's almost straight away you think, wow, we've got something here?
Yeah, because what you're thinking, and now it makes sense now when Patrick say he was frustrated. I never actually saw it at the time that he was frustrated, but he was playing in training at a very, very high level to the point where you're thinking, well, surely he's gonna break in soon. He's gonna have to start soon. You know, but like I think the word was they wanted him to make sure that he's watching and see what's going on, see the aggressivity and everything was going on. But then once that game, I don't think after that game that was it, Pat. He was in the team after that, because we knew, said it's only a matter of time before he gets in.